Oof, that didn't feel too good. um, hey, how's it going? Hope you're doing good. My name's Stilly, better known as Kings. I'm a band and an asshole. Paid asshole. I don't get paid. This is going to be the first episode of what is currently being called the Pogcast. Pog, P-O-G, streamer, slang. I don't know, this is going to be hard to do on my own, but we're just going to get through it. So for like this first episode, I kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about myself, something I enjoy very much because I'm a vain motherfucker. And I very much enjoy talking about myself 24/7, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Saw this, baby. So I'm Stiles. I make music for a living currently because I'm a broke bitch and I don't have a job. And now I'm doing a podcast because that's how podcasts work, right? Fuck me. I don't know. I don't really have any plans for this podcast. I ain't trying to be the next, like, H3H3 or other podcast. 'Cause I listen to a lot of podcasts. So I have a lot of frame of reference for this. Definitely not going in completely blind. Don't worry about it. Ha 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 ha. So I was going to have some guests for this first one, but with current situations, tensions are running high. It's not a great time to be alive, to be frank. Living, it's never easy. Don't get me wrong, living is like easily the hardest thing a person can do, sitting out, going out every day, and being in a world that isn't fair or kind to anyone, and just toughing it out, 7 days a week, 54 weeks in a year, 365 days. No one's happy. But that's just kind of how life is now. So there's no need to be so, I guess, down about it. But yeah, I was going to have guests. Don't have any guests. It's just going to be me. This one's going to be kind of short. I don't plan to talk for an hour. I'm not going to chew your ear out for an hour. The only people who are really going to listen to this one are people in my Discord, which is cool. Shout out to everybody in my Discord. They're all cool as fuck. Very supportive people. Just coolest fucking people I know. So, shout out to them. Maybe you're watching this, a couple years in the future. I've somehow tricked everyone into letting me become famous. And now I'm on episode 300 of... God, I hope it's not still called the podcast. Oh, God, it's going to still be called the podcast. Fuck. Oh, well. I'm going to do this all in one take. Not going to worry about it. Just going to be me talking to you for probably 30 minutes. Not going to look at a clock. It looked like I just looked at a clock, but I can't see my clock because it's turned away from me. So, don't know why it's facing the window. Not going to worry about it. But for this first episode, I kind of just want to talk about like what I plan to do with the podcast, like what I want to talk about. I want this to be like a not a drama podcast because I hate that. I hate that so much. Drama is the least interesting thing you can do during your day. Like if that's something you enjoy, like good for you, I guess. But as much as I can't lie and say that I enjoy drama, I mean, I watch Critical, I watch all of that just because it's fun. It's like reality TV, but more real, which, reality TV is real, so you can't really say that it's not, but it's not. So, but yeah, I want this to be like a music podcast, like where I can talk about music, talk about art, talk about stuff I enjoy, shoot people's ears off, try to get people on here, interview them, talk about stuff. Probably not so much like political stuff, I'm not a huge component for political advocacy. As, like, a privileged white male, there's nothing I can say about politics that can't and won't be misconstrued in a way that I can't control. So I don't want that to be my identity, is politics. It's not something that I particularly enjoy. I think the whole thing's kind of busted. That's my one stance. Everything's busted. Let's try to fix it. But I'm not gonna... I have no political soapbox to stand on. I have no moral high ground I can sit upon where I can look down on like a whole system and be like, hey, I'm right because, fuck you. No. Too many people do that, and I think that's really toxic and not good for anybody. So, I'm not going to do it, I mean, I definitely do it sometimes. I think everybody has their soapbox that they're willing to stand on at any time. I think mine's just being a general dick. I like being just a general asshole. Taking, hard stances when I can because it's kind of fun. But, yeah, I'm just going to do my best to avoid politics. When it comes up, especially when it comes for, like, music or, like, the arts, stuff like that, I'm going to, obviously talk about it. It's not something I want to, like, avoid, but it's not something that I necessarily find enjoyable to talk about or the discussion around it. It's just not something I really feel is advocate for myself and for like the people I want to be talking to on the podcast. So we're not super worried about that. But just disclaimer now, I am not, some music guru or I have no formal musical education. Like, fuck, I can't even read sheet music, right? But I'm pretty good at sociology and kind of like the human condition. It's something I'm fairly proud of. Something I can say that I can kind of put forth is an idea of kind of human common like underlying traits that kind of just run around. I'm pretty good at picking those out, so stuff like that. I want to get people on who are much more interesting than I am because, God, I'm boring myself even talking on this podcast. And I'm pretty sure I shouldn't be doing a podcast anyway with a speech impediment and just nothing interesting to say, but I'm doing it anyway because it's 2020. Everybody has a podcast. Your grandma probably has a podcast, and it's probably better than mine. And honestly, grandma's probably fucking cool. Probably kick my ass at Smash Bros. This has already gone off the rails. I love it. Chaos is king, queen, non-binary, ruling monarch, So, I'm planning to try to get some smaller bands onto the podcast. I'm clearly not going to be able to get anyone big on here. I mean, big is a relative term, but so, I've got some stuff in the pipeline. The metaphorical pipeline. So that's going to be interesting. I'm going to be trying to get people from my Discord on to, have conversations, talk about stuff, talk about music, art, all that kind of jazz. I wholly love creativity and being able to put out a creative mindset and like a creative like discourse between artists and musicians, like writers, all that kind of the way it mixes and like folds together into like this kind of Renaissance-esque, David slung out on a marble statue singing hallelujah, and in today's modern times where everything seems so negative and angry and just wholly unhappy with itself and with the way things kind of pan out. I'd love to be a source of positivity and like creativity to people. Obviously, that's probably not going to happen. This is probably just going to turn into a shit post eventually, which is, fucking rad. I'm down with some shit posting. I don't think anybody ever goes, oh, fuck shit posting. Oh, be serious all the time. Be like CNN and Fox News and be so up your own ass about everything. Which, that's just not what this is going to be. If you can't tell, if you've made it this far into this first episode already, congratulations, you're a fucking masochist. Because this has been a fucking mess. I think I've been recording for probably less than 15 minutes, and this shit's gone a million different ways. I didn't set up any notes or talking points for this first episode. I just wanted to get it done and out of the way, which doesn't sound great for artistic integrity for a podcast, just trying to get it, shit out and done, but, that's just how I roll. I wing everything, which has been wholly negative on my entire life, but I ain't gonna stop now. Can't stop, won't stop. But, continuing on, just, I want to be talking about, music and like the way music like influences society and like the way music influences people, and which I think to give a proper kind of understanding for where I come from when it comes to music and art and kind of like expressionism is being myself. I can kind of give like a backstory to who I am. I'm a pretty stereotypical, stupid, classically privileged white guy, pushing 22, living in Midwest America, the heartland of the Bible Belt, and the day actually is May 31st, tomorrow being the start of Pride Month, is very, which, fun fact, I only learned recently that June is Pride Month because it wasn't something that I ever felt impacted me growing up in a Christian household, two very strict religious parents, that I never really felt that, Pride Month ever affected me until, recently, as I've gotten older, as I've grown and kind of like tried to discover myself, Pride Month has become, more and more important to me as I've discovered my own, sexuality and kind of growth from like a very like emotionally, sexually repressive, religion, which is, again, I don't want to talk about religion stuff. That's not something that I enjoy talking about and not something that I want to talk about because it's a traumatic thing for many people. And I don't want this to be a podcast of trauma and, hard-hitting news topics, because we get enough of that. There's enough news. If you want to watch news, you can go anywhere for that. I want this to be a safe place where you can just, unwind, sit back, listen to my annoying ass voice for however long, and kind of just vibe. Vibe. Yeah, vibe's a good word. I love that word actually, vibe. I can vibe with just about anyone, It's just like a feeling of, energy and kind of two-way street of like respect and kind of understanding between two people or a group of people where you can kind of just vibe Like, I know a lot of people hate that word vibe. Like, I'm vibing. Like, check my vibe check. But I don't see it so much from an actual, like, ethereal energy. Like, oh, I'm putting off this aura, reciprocate my aura, kind of pagan stuff. I see it more as just like an attitude. I'm vibing with you if you vibe with me. Vibe. So, but I got off track again. What was I talking about? But yeah, just like I want this to be like a safe place where you can come, talk to me, your dad. I've adopted everyone. If you hear this, congratulations, you're adopted. I love you very much. Welcome to the family. I love you. Love you. Love you. um, yeah, a place where you can come, listen to my annoying ass voice, which I think I've said 5 times now. We can talk about music. We can talk about art. We can kind of talk about, like, just whatever turns into the topic of the day. I'm not doing this daily. Cause that would be wild if I did this daily. That would be fucking insane. And I'm not gonna do it daily. You can't make me. I barely have the energy to get out of bed daily. So, right, all the way back. I was talking about background. This is such a fucking mess. Oh my god. If anyone watches this whole thing, I'm gonna have to give them, like, the biggest dad hug possible. Because what the fuck are you doing with your life? I don't know how long this is, but it's too long already. God damn. I guess I'll just real quick just summarize kind of like my life so you guys can get to know me better. I'd love to get to know all of you better, but hopefully there's a lot of you, so I don't have time for all of you. Which sounds awful now that I've said that out loud. It sounded so much better in my head. I am so sorry. But, I'm Stiles. Nice to meet you. I go by Stilly. I go by Kings. Kings is my band name, and, just name, shut up, phone. But, I'm pushing 22, stereotypical white man with some Asian blood. My dad looks Pacific Islander. He's from Vietnam. Can't tell. Pale as fuck. But I've struggled with, mental illness, depression, anxiety, all that stuff. We're just going to blow past it because for the purposes of this, it doesn't matter so much as in, well, I guess it does because music and art and artistic outlets have always been how I expressed myself in a world where I'm not allowed to express myself because, I have to be a big boy, be emotionally strong in a Christian society where a man can't struggle. Which I also don't want this to become a gender thing. I think gender should be equal. Gender should be basically non-existent at this point. People should be able to, pick and choose, non-binary, trans. I actually don't really like the word trans. This is my hard stance. First episode, hard stance. I don't super like the term trans. But that's just because, for me, if you wholly believe, regardless of your birth, identity, and gender, that you are male, if everything in your being says that you're male, you're male. You don't have to I don't feel like you should have to call yourself a trans male or a trans female. That's just who you are. I don't run around and call myself biologically male. I don't introduce myself to people as biologically male. So I don't think people, like trans people, should have to go, oh, I'm trans male, trans female. you're male, you're female. Like, if you... And, of course, you can be non-binary. You can be non-binary, you can be in between, I'm not super well educated on LGBTQ plus, terms and names. But if you feel you're male, you're male. If you feel you're female, you're female. If you feel like you're neither, you're neither. That's just you. This isn't a place of judgment. And I don't feel like this is a crazy stance that, be who you want to be, As your new dad, I've adopted all of you. I'm proud of you. If you haven't heard this lately, I'm proud of you. Good job for making it this far. You're an amazing person. Your past doesn't define you. Your future doesn't define you. Who you are in this moment is who you are in this moment. Congratulations for making it this far. If you're struggling, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody struggles. I don't feel like we make it okay to be struggling enough. You can struggle. Okay, don't ever let anyone tell you can't struggle. If anyone says they've never struggled, then they're either lying to you, trying to flex on you, trying to do that big flex, or they just haven't realized they're struggling yet. They're in a big vat of denial. So, like I said, if you haven't heard it today, just repeat this bit as many times as you need. Hey, it's your dad. It's me, Stiles, your father. I'm proud of you. You're great. Whatever you're doing right now, whatever you're trying to achieve, I'm so proud of you for it. You're going to kill it. You're top tier. You're the best. You are everything you need to be in this moment. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You are who you are. Your past doesn't define you. Your future isn't set in stone. You are the best you could be in this moment. Don't strive for something you can't accomplish. Don't let your failures hold you down. Everybody fails. Failure is a stepping stone to your future, which I just said is not set in stone. But like I said, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations for making it this far. Life isn't going to be easy, but you got this. Yeah, that's it. I ended up not really talking very much about music, but I think this is setting a good tone for the Pogcast that, the good vibes only, hashtag good vibes only. In today's society of hate and anger, spread love. Go hug someone unless you are seriously uncomfortable with physical affection. Then give someone a virtual hug or a long distance shoulder pat, like a pat their shoulder. Unless you're just super not into physical affection, period. Give them a thumbs up. Everybody loves a thumbs up. Yeah. Tune in for episode 2 of the podcast. I'm going to try to get my good friend Fishy on. He's got a fantastic voice. He's going to be some ASMR shit. It's going to be popping. Trying to get some bands on, some more musical people. Talk about music. Talk about stuff. Because it's hard to talk about music by yourself. Because I can sit here and echo chamber my own opinions on music that, modern music is, pretty garbage. Like modern pop and serialized music has lost like its soul. I could sit here and be pretentious all day, but no one wants to hear me just sit here and say, oh, music bad, oh, new music bad, old music good, because old music is also kind of trash. Okay? Music is completely subjective. In my opinion, a lot of music is bad just because it's pandering nonsense. I feel like a lot of my own music is pandering nonsense. But, I think, so I'm just going to stop myself. I'm talking too much already. Episode 2, going to try to get Fishy on. Going to try to get some other people on. We're going to talk about some music theory, some music history, kind of like how music has impacted people, how music impacts modern day society, kind of how it mixes and matches with like people's identities and their kind of like the trends of trend seeking, the trend of searching to make a trend. So we're going to be talking about that. Going to have a script, not like a script, but like bullet points that we can actually talk through, which I think is going to be very helpful because, God, this has been all over the place. I really should have just written out some pieces and stuff. But, yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you for listening to the first episode of the podcast. I've been Stiles. Just one last time, I love you. You are loved. There is not a world in which you are not valid because you are. Whatever you've done, whatever you're going to do is not the most important thing. What you do in the moment is. If you haven't heard it today, everything you do has value. Don't let anyone take away your value. That is all. Okay. Holy shit, that went a really long time. Thank you for listening. I'm just going to redo my outro now. Thank you for listening to the first episode of the podcast. I don't know how long this is. I don't have a timer or anything out for this. Hopefully episode 2 will be more structured, less of a ramble fest, because this was definitely a ramble fest. So we're just gonna hope for the best for episode 2. Again, thank you so much for listening, for taking time out of your day to listen to my garbage. Love you. Peace out from Dad.